All right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Darius Onchauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. And I just wanted to quickly share with you a technical piece on the pair that you probably don't trade very often. However, it does present itself with some nice opportunities occasionally, and I do pick up on this pair sometimes in my webinars. You can check those out. But look, CHFJPY, I call it the battle of the safe havens. As you know, as you're aware, the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen are seen as two safe haven currencies whenever where everybody jumps into when the times go rough. And recently, with the old tariff wars and all that stuff, the markets have taken a turn, right? I mean, we have seen some recovery lately in the last week, but in general, the negativity is still out there. Now, look, Swiss franc was the most beneficial, or the biggest beneficiary of all this game, of all this trade war, because again, everybody started jumping into the Swiss franc heavily. We saw USD CHF, for example, selling off very rapidly and quickly, and like, look at this. I mean, this is just devastation. And I picked up on this in my previous webinars and previous videos, so you can check out those. But now I just want to pick up on the technicals here on the CHF Of course, the Japanese yen is also, like I said, is also seen as a pair, or sorry, a currency where everybody jumps into. However, the problem with Japan is the fact that they're also very vulnerable to the tariffs, and they have a bigger economy that needs to be saved in a way. So. Look, the we know that the BOJ is it was initially trying to go for some more rate hikes in order to support the Japanese yen, but then everything turned, and there's no support needed because the Japanese yen just kind of picked up interest naturally because of the falling market. But there are now talks and rumors saying that maybe actually something more will have to be done later on, because they cannot really rely constantly on this. So that's what I'm saying. So at the moment, I think that this is factoring it in. In here, we can see that the Swiss franc is a little bit stronger than the Japanese yen. But if the Japanese government or the BOJ will not do anything to support the yen later on, then yep, we could see CHF JPY actually flying further north. And at the moment, we're seeing a little bit of stabilization here. Japanese yen is picking up interest. The Swiss franc is kind of retracing. But look, I'll say it this way: I when we were still here in this little area where we were in between these two trend lines. And by the way, I talked about this pair like 2 videos ago. Basically, I said to everybody, look, I mean, we need a pop here through one of the trend lines here. We need to break through one of the trend lines in order to consider the next short-term directional move, because the downside scenario was slightly off the table, because again, we were further away from it. We were closer to this downside line. And yep, we got the pop. It went nicely. It went higher. But now let's reevaluate this thing, because again, we're seeing a little bit of a retracement. And to be honest, I'm not going to deny that there could be a little bit more retracement here. Let's say if I do apply my Fibonacci, my beloved Fibonacci on this one, you can see that we currently did already to 23.6 on this Fibonacci retracement, which is measured from the lowest point of April to the highest point of April, the current highest point of April, and the current lowest point, of course. But we did retrace. So in a way, if we do fall below that 23.6, I'm aiming for that 38.2, and that goes in perfectly with my theory, where I keep on saying to everybody, look, whenever we break a trend line, we tend to revisit it from the other side. Again, it doesn't happen all the time, doesn't happen 100%, but it does. It seems like it is more than 50%. So if that's the case, again, so we could see a larger correction back down here, but for that I need to see a drop below the 23.6. Then my next target is the area around the 38.2 here, and that's roughly around the 173.20 zone ish. So basically above that downside line. And this downside line is taken from the highest point of Oh, let me just drop it here. Highest point of July of 2024. And yep, like I said, it could be a good plateau for a nice little rebound. So let's keep an eye on this one. Again, this is my little game plan right now. If we do not see that drop below the 23.6 here, yes, we could see a rebound back up, like back up straight away. However, for me to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside in that case, I would prefer to wait for a move above the 175.82 territory, somewhere there. And ideally, of course, ideally a pop up of the current highest point of this month near the 176.47 zone ish. And if that gets cleared, of course, a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, then potentially attracting more buyers into the game. That's where we will start aiming for the 177.30 zone, and then maybe even to the 180 area. I mean, it could be nice, could be an interesting move here, but again, let's not get way too carried away. Let's go slowly. First, like I said, the first thing what I'm watching here is, can we see a drop below the 23.6? If we can, great. I will consider a move towards the 38.2, and then I will see if we can get a nice little rebound from there. If we do not do that, and instead we start breaking the downside line here, and if we fall back below the 172.90 zone, ooh, I'm considering a little bit of a decline here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this helps. I don't know if you trade this pair or not, but just hey, we try to look for opportunities everywhere, and I think it's, in my opinion, this pair is very interesting. I do like to look at these exotic pairs. So, hey, let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree or not, but we'll go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. And I'll see you in my next video update. Bye for now.